The Moral Regeneration Movement in Northwest has condemned the alleged naked strip searches of women miners by security guards at Kopanong Gold Mine near Klerksdorp. There are now calls for the Department of Employment and Labour and the South African Human Rights Commission to investigate the incidents. Joining us is Pastor Lesiba Kgwele, the MRM Northwest Interim Committee Convenor. Pastor, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this afternoon. Why do such practices still exist in 2025, be it towards men or women? All right, it seems we're not yet getting that link to Pastor. We're going to try and reconnect so we can have that very important conversation with him in just a moment. All right, I believe, Pastor, you're back. A very good afternoon to you, Pastor. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, a very disturbing occurrence that is still happening in many of the mines across the country. But I was asking just why do we see that in 2025 such practices still continue, not only towards women, but also to men?
Thank you to you and your viewers as well. We are extremely concerned about the continued atrocities that are still being perpetuated in the mining sector, particularly as it relates to the dehumanization of the women that are employed at this particular mine in Klerksdorp.
Have you had any conversations or engagements with the mine with regards to these practices?
Our intention is to ensure that we take meaningful dialogue together with the National Union of Mine Workers, because we view this as very serious atrocities which should not be allowed in any workplace, particularly given that the women in the mining sector have had challenges underground where they've been abused. We know the case of Mepinki, Musiane, and others who have been, abused in underground through acts of gender-based violence. And these ones in particular point to a situation that needs us to work with the stakeholders in the mining sector to ensure that they are not perpetuated and that the perpetrators are responsible for such atrocities are brought to book. Hence, we have made the appeal to the Department of Employment and Labour, the Department of Employment Labour, as well as the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, as well as the CIRA, that's responsible for the security sector, to also be involved in ensuring that such practices are uprooted.
And have any of these departments or agencies responded to this appeal of yours?
Thus far, we have had a positive response from the National Union of Mine Workers, which is the one that blew the whistle on such practices. And that hence we are saying that we are prepared to engage with all of them, including the said Kopanong gold mine, to ensure that we get to the bottom of this. But we have also realized that within the security sector itself, women are not taken seriously. We've seen how women continue to be underpaid, where women are continued to be abused by employers in the sectors. And where they are happening, we will definitely be advocating for them to be insourced into some of the government departments where women do not even know what they are being paid. But the fact that such atrocities are also, women are responsible where they search women where they're not even supposed to search them, using old apartheid style of, a search instead of using modern technology that will be able to say, but this person has, an object that they have somehow hidden on their persons. That should be done in a humane manner. Hence, we are calling out this unethical practices that are, still being perpetrated, even in a month where workers' rights are supposed to be, upheld.
Most certainly. And what are the moral and ethical implications, Pastor, of subjecting women miners to such atrocities?
The implication of this is that they are being dehumanized, and you almost get a sense that these are also, racist, because all of the women involved here happen to be black women, and we know that black women historically have been, disadvantaged in that they have been, inequality has been one of the things that they've had to deal with, but in this particular instance, we're talking about them now being dehumanized and being humiliated. These are gross human rights atrocities and violations that should come to an end.
You mentioned earlier that they use old apartheid style in order for them to do these security checks. Why do you think they're not moving and evolving to using modern technology that can be able to detect whether it's a metal object that someone could have on their person?
We, as the Moral Regeneration Movement, regard such practices that are still being, perpetuated as gross, in that there is modern technology available. There are many areas where people do enter, and at the airports and other areas, they're being done. So this is just a matter of, exploitation that continues to characterize the mining sector, as well as lack of respect for human rights, as well as workers' rights.
And what would you like seen to be done to these perpetrators? What consequences do you believe would also actually deter other mining companies in instituting such security measures?
While we appeal to other mining companies to also review their practices, as well as the security industry to do the same, we think that it is something that does not, this cannot be condoned in any manner. It means that we expect that there be punitive action being taken, because this is against the law. So if anything is against the law, we expect that the law will take its course, and that those responsible will be held accountable, in order that it sends a clear, unequivocal message to those that are still perpetuating that this is grossly unacceptable, and that the rights of women and women workers must be upheld, because practices that are ongoing are gross human rights violations.
All right, Pastor Lesiba, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Very disturbing to find that we do have workers in South Africa that are still subjected to such measures in 2025. But thank you for ringing that alarm and ensuring that workers' rights are protected